We are in Eurographics 2012 in Cagliari, edition 33, with Paul Debevec. Yesterday, a very intensive presentation about computer graphics and the future and the present of computer graphics. What about your experience in this theme in computer graphics, beginning from Commodore 64? I have read. Your experience is very amazing, very interesting. What about this evolution?
Well, I did start doing computer graphics on Commodore computers a long time ago, just drawing lines and doing some bitmapped things. I was very excited as a kid to try to create things in 3D, because I just thought the idea of your two-dimensional screen looking like it was three-dimensional imagery was very exciting. So I asked my dad for some help trying to figure out the equations of projection, and eventually I ended up figuring out how to do some perspective projection, and I had a lot of fun with that. Where we are right now is at a moment where what we can create with the computer is completely inconceivable from, 15 or 20 years ago, where you can really create reality the way that if it's something that you can imagine, a combination of artistic effort and technical horsepower can produce it. And we can see that in just about any major summer movie where there was some crazy vision by the director, and every single pixel of that frame is completely rendered. In the movie Avatar, done by Weta Digital, they have entire forests, entire machines, creatures and people, all completely digital in the frame, and it's just awe-striking to think that we've gotten this far at this point.
I think your job have changed the history of cinema. What do you think about this?
Well, I was inspired to try to go into photoreal computer graphics, really inspired by cinema. The movie Back to the Future from 1985, directed by Robert Zemeckis, has this scene at the very end where the time travel car drives down the street, and then it flies back at you. And I also drove a sort of a gray metal car back then, but it was a very inexpensive car. And I wanted to create, when I was 19 years old, I wanted to watch my car fly around just like in the movie. So I ended up taking photos of it and deriving the geometry from the photos and projecting the photographs back on. This became my Chevette project. And when I saw this image-based modeling and rendering technique, I only used images because I didn't know any other way to do it or to make it look realistic. But at the time, it was a very early example of deriving geometry and reflectance from images and then using it for rendering. And so the techniques that I ended up exploring or having an opportunity to work on at Berkeley for my Ph.D. thesis were about taking this photographic capture, geometry acquisition, and projection system to the realm of architecture. And I made a short movie of reconstructing the University of California at Berkeley campus, the tower and all the buildings around, virtually flying around it. And I made a short film showing that you can start with photographs of a scene and turn it into a photoreal 3D environment. And then this came back into the movie industry in the movie The Matrix, where the visual effects supervisor for The Matrix saw my film in 1997 when he was working on the film to come out in 1999, and they adopted those techniques, and they hired one of the students I'd supervised to create that for all the virtual backgrounds in the bullet time shots, which definitely helped them have another element to elevate this beyond what anybody had ever seen before in cinema. And that was a huge rush, not just to make my own little film with it, but to also have it make a small contribution to a much larger vision as well.
Okay, what do you think of the future of computer graphics between the research of reality and the creativity?
I think that conferences like Eurographics and SIGGRAPH are successful because they combine technical advancement with creative advancement as well. A lot of the papers here are actually, I think, just smart people being creative, and they have to put detailed mathematical equations in the papers, but they just wanted to create something new and wonderful. And this is a great venue that fosters that kind of work. I think that that's why computer graphics has made such amazing strides in the last 40 years, that and Moore's Law certainly, but it's because it gets people excited and really the most creative, intelligent people to contribute to the field, because it's not just a way of technical advancement, it's extending the creative medium. You get to create images that nobody's ever seen before. And at any given point, you can look at all the amazing stuff that we've created in computer graphics and think, oh, we've done it all now. Like James Cameron made Avatar, we can do everything. You could have gone back to 1985 and said, well, we can do a glass sphere flying over a checkerboard, like we saw in Turner Winnood's ray tracing animations. And it's got shadows and reflections and refractions. Oh my God, I never thought we'd do this. It's like we must have solved it all. Well, we have to keep remembering that we haven't solved it all. And until, I think, an independent filmmaker with a story to tell will have tools at their disposal that them on their computer and some of their collaborators on their computers just working together in a small group, until they can create their own vision on the epic scale of what we saw for hundreds of millions of dollars in Avatar, I don't think we'll be done.
Last, what do you think about this organization, Eurographics 2012, organized by Series 4 and University of Cagliari?
Well, this is actually the first time that I have attended the Eurographics conference. I've heard of it. I've even had a paper in last year's Eurographics with one of my collaborators. It's absolutely excellent. The quality of the papers is very high. The quality of the organization has been excellent. Things are running on time. There's good facilities. The quality of the food has been amazing. We're having to be careful not to eat too much of it this week, otherwise we'll have some problems. But it's a great pleasure to be here in Cagliari. It's a beautiful town. I got to walk around on Sunday, and I'll stay around till Saturday afterwards and do some driving around Sardinia, and I'm very much looking forward to it.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.